Hey there, welcome to C&T Collectibles. I'm C. Hope you're doing well. Today we're going to cover our 2023 Major League Baseball third base tiers. So we've ranked players into tiers for fantasy purposes. We'll take a look at their roto rank, their score, or their points league rank. And for baseball card purposes, I think there's a tight enough correlation between how they perform on the field and how their cardboard does off the field that if that's your focus, you can get something out of this as well. I like the tier rankings. I think a number of players are just too close, and it doesn't matter where you take them. You just want to group them into near enough areas, and then kind of go with it by that. So once you exhaust one tier, you move on to the next, and so on and so forth. And so third base runs out of room pretty quickly. So once you get out of these tiers, it gets a little bit dicey. All the players beyond that have some problems. So let's get started with the lower tier that we're gonna have here. We're covering like 10, 12 players or something like that. So tier 5 actually contains a couple of the guys I would consider sleepers, some of the better sleepers considering their draft position and what their projected performance is going to be, and that is Yandy Diaz and Anthony Rendon, currently going outside the top 20 of third basemen in drafts, but could return top 10-ish value. So Yandy Diaz, the last couple of years, 2 out of the last 3 anyways, he's been a very terrific hitter with a 130 plus weighted runs created, projected to do that again, which is an elite level bat. He has a lot of contact ability, not a lot of the counting stats that you look from some of the top third basemen, and he's not on a team that puts up a ton of offense, so the RBI and runs numbers are a little bit lower, but he certainly handles what he can handle here. So in points league, because he doesn't strike out a whole lot, where in points league you're penalized for strikeouts. He's a top 10 type player, roto, top 13 type player, just because he is fairly well-rounded, and so that could return some pretty decent value. Anthony Rendon, another player of the same ilk here, elite level bat when he's healthy. I mean, this is an all-star level player, 6 wins roughly, give or take. Now, staying on the field has been kind of the issue the last few years, and so if he's able to come back, if he's able to stay on the field with that lineup, Ohtani and Trout and some of those other guys, I mean, he could really be a productive bat in the middle of that order. So we'll see how that plays out. Healthy Rendon, absolutely terrific value. Unhealthy Rendon, not so much. So and I think that's why you're getting the discount on him in drafts. But again, because of his lack of strikeouts, a top 10 points guy in a low teens, low double digit roto guy. Gunnar Henderson is another player, rookie, that I think a lot of people are favoring for Rookie of the Year. I do as well. It came up last year, and he's really been working hard the past few years on his plate contact, his plate presence, and he chases balls outside the zone at a 23% clip, which is among the elite, and so he's really learning that strike zone and pounding balls when they get into the zone here, so I would expect him to continue to improve, but at a rookie, he could have a pretty successful season, some nice counting stats, decent double-digit home runs, and a nearly elite weighted runs created, and so here's another player, because there's some swing and miss to his game. He could be just outside the top 10 in points leagues, but inside the top 10 on roto, because he can throw in a few strikeouts, and he's got a few more bombs. Jose Miranda for the Twins would be another player sitting in this tier. He could be a first baseman as well, but if you're getting him, you probably throw him over at third base. He had a nice season last year. Another guy that can hit just fine. Not a huge power guy, not a huge speed guy or anything like that, but he could fit into your lineup if you address other areas. First, tier 4, Austin Riley and Bobby Witt Jr. Bobby Witt Jr., player that I'm very interested in to see how he does this year, but he's going off the board a little bit too early at the third base and the shortstop position. Currently going in the top handful of players there, second for the third base in this case here, where he's going to play this year. And that's a little rich, as he projects to have projects to be about 7th in points and 4th in roto. Now the difference between the points and roto rankings in points leagues, he strikes out. That's going to hurt him. In roto, he steals a lot of bases. Probably number 1 guy at third base, and so he'll jump up just a little bit there. So pretty decent stick. He's got the power. If he can cut down the strikeouts, he will be a beast, and he could earn that second off the board. But projections don't have him there just yet. Austin Riley, one of your better hitters here. He's got the 280, 290 capability with 30-plus home runs, a lot of counting stats in that Braves offense, and he ranks 6 across the board in points and roto. Another player that's it's going to be one of the top players this year. If you're speculating, then it depends on what the market thinks of him now, and can you exceed those expectations. But he's been able to produce very, very well the past few years here. A little bit older, so not a not a real long-term target for me, but I've got a little bit going on here. So, all right, tier 3, Nolan Arenado and Manny Machado, two of the best in the game all time. These are long-term holds for me in card world, and then for fantasy purposes, they would be a target before you see a drop off to those other players. You're getting 30-ish home runs, a lot of counting stats because of the respective offenses. Nice batting average. They're 270, 280 guys, but when they combine it with the power, they really are pretty terrific players. WRC plus, elite level bats, hovering between 5 and 6 wins above replacement. So Manny Machado was a player that we looked at in one of our regression videos. He had a career year last year, so look for him to come back, but still be one of the elite at the position here. In points and roto, they are top 5 options. Tier 2, we are looking at Rafi Devers and Alex Bregman. So a couple of excellent sticks here. They can hit, and they can, and Rafi at least can hit for power. Bregman's, he's good for 25, 30 home runs, but those, especially in the Houston offense for Bregman, he has a lot of counting stat opportunities there with run and RBI. Weighted runs created, they're both above elite bats here. Bregman really, his only concern is health, and he showed he was healthy last year and had a really, really nice season. When he's been healthy and when he's played, he's an all-star or better type player. First couple years in the season, in the league, he was a MVP type player here. So Rafi Devers continues to improve. As soon as he starts putting together full seasons, he's something to be watched out for. So an excellent average. A lot of home runs. Again, that weighted runs created, the wins above replacement. These are two of the elite players at the position and in the game. Points leagues, Rafi, a little bit of strikeout, third in points. First in roto, he's able to do a little bit of everything. And Bregman, he walks more than he strikes out, so he jumps up in points leagues. In a roto, drops down a little bit because he doesn't have the huge power or average numbers. And our number one player at the third base position is Jose Ramirez. He's been there the past few years. Would expect him to be there for the next few years. So, he has a nice average, 30-plus home runs and RBI. He's just going to drive in. He doesn't look like it, but he does have some excellent speed. Elite level bat, again, 5.6 wins above replacement. So probably your number one guy at the position in points leagues because he can fill up the stat line. Number one roto. Again, between he and Devers, don't fine tune it too much there. Either one of those guys is probably going to do you well. But if Ramirez doesn't finish as the number one overall, he's going to be very, very close, most likely. So there are my rankings for the third base position. We'll hit the shortstop next and wind it up with outfield. Hope you enjoyed this. Please, if you do enjoy, like, subscribe, do all that kind of good stuff, and we'll talk to you later. Thank you.